going to share something with you. That might put me in a very negative light, yeah.
Relationships are not my forte.
See if someone grabbed up my wife or something, completely different ballgame.
I'll walk away from here, and this has been like a therapy session.
Oscar Wevis, IFL TV, proudly sponsored by Everlast. Dean Whyte joins me. It's good to see you, my man. How's things?
I know, my boy. All good, man. All good.
Into another weekend, as you just told me, of back to back, exciting weeks of boxing, and a really good start to the year. Considering last year, obviously, we had a ban in January, so it's nice to kind of start the year and just kick on with good boxing.
Give the fans what they want, man. You know, they want to see fights and they want to see good fights. Like you said, the year started well. Obviously, taking aside KSI. You know, sold out show, and then we had last week Smith and Eubank sold out. I'm not sure what this is going to do, but I mean, hell of a fight nevertheless.
I'll start by kind of asking a pretty simple question. Do you give Anthony Yarde a chance? Because he has kind of been completely dismissed by a lot of people. The impossible task, but I suppose it's only impossible because no one's found the solution to Beterbiev yet, and there is no reason he can't be the man, I guess.
Absolutely, you shouldn't be upset because he's 19-0. 19 KOs, so his record speaks for himself. So you're not going to go against the grain and say anything different to differ from what his record suggests. He's a wrecking ball, but he turned 38 the other day, so you know maybe Father Time might be catching up with him. We'll find out on Saturday night. But there has been remedy, and obviously Anthony Yarde, as we've seen, he's lost on 2 occasions, i.e. a close one with Lyndon Arthur, but then obviously the loss, the stoppage to Kovalev. What would have been interesting would have been if Kovalev and Beterbiev actually fought, so we could have had a gauge on how good he stopped him, as opposed to how the fight was going with Anthony Yarde all them years ago. But I mean, that fight never happened. But look, here we are. Look, you know, he's technically good. Obviously, he hasn't had the stellar amateur career as Beterbiev. He's had over, what did he have, about 106, 110 amateur fights. He fought Usyk, I think, 3 or 4 times. You know what I mean? I think he actually beat him in one of them and he lost a couple. So, I mean, he's faced the who's of who in boxing. So, when we come to Anthony Yarde, this is a man that's done it the hard way. Got into boxing when he was 18, turned pro, I think he said when he was 19. No schoolboys, no amateurs, no white collars. No frills. So, I mean, he's done pretty good. He's done phenomenal, in fact. You know, he's another someone in boxing who's an overachiever as far as I'm concerned with his record and having the mental capacity to stay focused, stay the course and get to this elite world level and be fighting for unification Saturday night. He does have a chance because he has power, he has ability, but against this man, this is a different kettle of fish. And come Saturday night, we're going to see what Anthony Yarde pulls out the bag of tricks.
It is 2 very different boxing journeys to get to where they are now. Just a little bit on Anthony Yarde, and he has been given opportunities. I know he's worked his way into those opportunities as well. You can tell Frank has obviously taken a liking to Anthony. It's been an exciting journey, but he has taken quite a lot of hits on the way when it comes to scrutiny. His team and him have been dissected to the max. If we're being honest, he's been told to leave and separate from his team many a time, yet kind of stubbornness, loyalty, whatever you want to call it, they're here and it's that same team. But Anthony and his team have kind of gone through the mill when it comes to taking all of that.
He's added James Cook, so we've got to give him his credit. He's kept his coach and he's added an addition, respectfully saying, you know, maybe we need to bolster, maybe 2 heads is better than 1, and it normally is. So credit to him, you know, where credit's due, he stuck with his man, they stuck it out, and here they are fighting for all the glory Saturday night. They have took a lot of slack, but look, boxing, this is what it is anyway, you know what I mean? If you lose, you're damned. If you win, you're damned. So it's just part and parcel of the game. You need a bit of thick skin to kind of be in boxing and deal with, you know, the day-to-days of what it is.
Yeah, we can't wait. And it would be a real story if Anthony was to be the man to take them 3 belts.
He's able to pull it off. I wish him well.
I know you kind of done a post-fight after the weekend, but I do just kind of, now the dust has settled, I guess, want to talk a little bit about Liam Smith and Chris Eubank. It kind of seems that everyone's not shocked at the result, but kind of shocked to the manner of the result. We've seen Eubank lose, but never kind of in that state. Yeah. So just looking back at it now, a really good event and a mad ending, really.
Yeah, really, really good event. Atmosphere was amazing. Manchester fans, Liverpool fans played their part. London fans also. Yeah, I mean, carnage is the word. You know what I mean? I didn't expect that. And I mean, look, we always knew the ability and the skill set was there. But like you said, in the manner of how he, vanquished, as he was like a demon of some sort, I didn't expect that. But look, that style, how he boxes with his jab hand very low, Liam was throwing, that right overhand early anyway and catching him. And then he just kind of set it up, touched him up downstairs. And then because he kept rolling underneath a lot through the uppercut and then I think the left foot, not sure, but those are the kind of combinations, a skillful guy or a family like the Smith family as they are, all of them are a great talent and done tremendously well as a boxing family. So they were all in that corner and, all that IQ of boxing brain and intelligence in that corner, trust me, they came up with a game plan and boy did they execute.
Obviously, Chris Eubank's kind of being now, I don't know, getting called into question as he kind of seems to after defeats. But is he going to be one of them fighters who, regardless of what his last 3 fights have entailed, there's always going to be stuff out there simply because he is Chris Eubank?
Of course. But Chris is another one who's done extremely well, another overachiever. He didn't have a stellar amateur career, didn't do much, and he's made a hell of a lot of money out of boxing. People keep saying, he used his father's name. That's the name his father gave him because it's his father. So we need to get that correct in what they're saying about his dad's name. He had to do all the training, all the runs, all the sparring. You know what I mean? He had to diet. He's the one that didn't have to drink all the alcohol he could have been drinking in the clubs like some fighters do, balloon up out of camp. He put in all that dedication. So we must respect him in that aspect and give him the credit for what it is,
He didn't just have big fights handed to him on a silver platter, did he? Yeah.
Exactly. He done what he meant to do and he got to this level. And look, at the end of the day, he come up short. Fair dues to him. He gave the man credit in the ring and he said, you know what, next time I'll be bigger, badder, and I'll be better. And I expect to get the win on the next occasion. So, it's a shame. I like him. I like both guys. Chris is my little brother, so, I wanted him to do good. But, it's at least both guys are healthy and they go back to their families healthy and safe with bundles of cash, mate.
I see one thing that Roy Jones posted, and it was kind of about one of the shots leading with an elbow. It's one of them things, you kind of don't want a defeat to roll on and it just kind of be a trail of excuses. But, yeah, just kind of your, I guess, take on that.
What I would say is,
there's different ways to take a defeat, and no one wants to see it. And it's not that they're not being gracious, but
let me just kind of get to this. Roy Jones' style is trying to be elusive and stuff. With the boxers I train, we use forearms a lot. I use a little manipulation and a bit of physicality. Because obviously, the person's not going to sit there and let you hit them. So sometimes you've got to maneuver them, either with your arms, with your forearms, into position. And that's the stance Smith took on the day, and it worked out. It's the ref's job to do his duty to stop him doing that if he sees him in due time. And on that occasion, he didn't. So Royce, it's, I don't know.
Well, the outcome was Liam Smith won, and we'll see where things go from there. Anthony Joshua and Jermaine Franklin, not the most left field of fights, and a good fight.
I think it's a good fight because obviously him and Dillian had a hard fight, and it's a good yardstick for him to come back to if he wants to build confidence, come back and get a win in good fashion, and someone durable, someone we've seen that can fight, that can box, has speed, has decent chin. It's a good yardstick. So for Joshua, and then on top of that, if he can beat him in devastating fashion, if Dillian and Joshua do fight in the summer, it goes into that fight because who did it better? Who was more convincing? Which one was more compelling? So, Dillian had a hard fight, and obviously some said it was, it could have gone either way. But I mean, I feel Dillian won the championship rounds to get the job done in that instance. But look, roll on April the 1st, as they say. See what Joshua does. I wish him well, man. I hope, he comes and performs, and him training Derek James does wonders for him.
Yeah, I was going to say, I can kind of see the narrative of where it's going if Joshua, is to fight Jermaine Franklin. And then it leads in, obviously, to the Dillian fight in the summer. Is Dillian going to wait for that fight? Will Dillian fight in between? Because it's one of them situations where whoever Dillian fights, it will be a big fight, so he can't just kind of have... people will want some sort of decent name.
Exactly. And in heavyweight boxing, as you know, there's no easy fights. We must categorically state this: there is no easy fights in heavyweight boxing. Even if you see someone and is unknown a quantity, and if they are defeated at 20 fights or more, they're highly likely going to be some form of a talent and have some form of a skill set. There was talk of Otto Wallin. Obviously, that's down to Dilly and his team. It's got nothing to do with me. I manage and I promote and I deal with my guys. I would say it's not a good fight because he can move, he's got good footwork, he's a southpaw, and you just don't fight southpaws willy-nilly, unnecessarily. Yes, I understand when he came here, he fought Sokolowski and didn't perform. Sometimes guys fight to the opponents that are in the ring. If he fights a Dillian Whyte, he will turn up in the best fashion he can be. Mobile, southpaw, always a nightmare there for any puncher, because a puncher wants someone to sit there and trade with them. You know what I mean? He's like 6'8", 6'7". I think stylistically it's not the greatest fight, you know, but I think Dillian should fight, but it's going to be a hard one because, you know, in boxing things can happen, and then it could obviously mess up a great payday for him down the line. But it's Dillian's show, Dillian's team show, you know, whatever they want to do their rodeo.
Just one more thing. February the 11th. February the 11th. Yeah, that's the next show.
We're back. Sky's the limit, man. We're back at the Tolworth. Good fights. Good year of boxing for us, you know, good roster. We're just about to announce the February card any day now. We've got a few titles on that fight. I think we've got the Commonwealth and something else we're just dealing with now. So, and in April, good few fights. IBF, Commonwealth, hopefully the southern area. So we're moving nicely, man. We're moving, we're purring. No thanks to anyone but the good work of the Black Box Global team and myself and the fans that support. You know what I mean? So I'm looking forward to this to be a great year.
I'm going to share something with y'all that might put me in a very negative light, yeah.
Relationships are not my forte.
See if someone grabbed up my wife or something. Completely different ballgame.
I'll walk away from here, and this has been like a therapy session.